So, you know what it's time for now? Now let's talk about competitive. So, we already did the ranked tier list. Now it's time to see what you want to play if you are a Giga tryhard. Oh yeah, let's reset that. So, I think here you're actually going to... This is cool, by the way. You're going to find that for competitive, again, specifically tournament play. I'm talking daily ornament tournament. I'm talking monthly ornament tournament. I'm talking community event. So to be clear, know what this is. This is very specifically about high-level play. Okay? I think S tier is actually just Core Guard and Willbender. I think everything else is not mandatory, but I don't see any team skipping those two. Don't see it. They're just so strong right now. Like the support, the stability uptime, the cleanse, the consistent healing output, the tankiness, the durability, the mobility, the damage output. There's no way you're dropping this right now. The massive buffs to the damage output of Willbender and the support of it as well, just the cooldown reduction, the sustainability, the damage output, all of it, it's just too much. You're definitely not skipping that. Yeah. And other than that, I think this is really cool, okay? I think the meta is actually really wide open. I think there's a lot of things that you can actually play after those two, right? Now, this is a bit of a hunch, because of course we saw rank 55 play with no Thief in the latest monthly ornament tournament, but you actually saw them struggle to control the map, right? And I spoke with Boyce afterwards, and he said that, yeah, you probably wouldn't, in the optimal, like, mega tryhard comp, you probably wouldn't run Untamed and Willbender. You probably run one or the other, right? It will be one or the other. And for that reason, I think you would definitely have Specter in A tier. I expect A+ tier, rather. When we see tournament gameplay, so stuff like Master of the Arena, I am expecting basically every team to run Specter. It arguably deserves to be an S tier, actually, for this reason. I think you are going to see Thief on almost every top-level team for PvP. I'm only putting in A+ because I think it's maybe... There's a chance you could not play it. I think there's actually like a chance you wouldn't. But I think you almost certainly will. It's just amazing. Mobility, it's great in these smaller fights. It can contribute to team fights as well. It's tanky. It's got a lot going for it. It's got range steal there as well with Siphon. Very, very cool build. And I think that the true potential of this build will actually get unchained the better players get with it and the more coordinated they become, actually. So yeah, I think it's still very much A+ tier. And yeah, there is a Condi build, but it still hits pretty damn hard. It's pretty bursty, actually, because it has the poison damage trait. And you can actually play a power build, right? Like Sin likes to play the power build too. But we'll see how that evolves and see how that develops later on down the line. So now let's get into some other things. I think Harbinger immediately goes in A+ tier as well. Again, I don't think it's mandatory, but I think it's very, very strong. I think most teams are going to be running with this. It's just great. It's really good in 2v2s. It's great at bunker busting through mechs, through core guardians, right? It's going to mess up that Willbender properly, right? You land that elite elixir. Really nice support in the mix as well, actually. Really nice support because you have the elite elixir, you have the AoE quickness. And that AoE quickness, seriously, that is roids for your Willbender. You're next to your Willbender and... like, that thing is going to be going berserk, right? That thing is going psycho, you know? It's going to be so much output, right? Actually, insane damage output right now on this thing. Very, very high value indeed. You know, Vindicator, this one is... Man, now that I'm looking at these, I'm going, wait a minute. How... wait a minute. Because the way the meta's developed right now is that Team USA, they have discovered the forbidden technology, okay? The true Exodia of PvP, which is some kind of abomination Vindicator build, which runs Avatar Amulet and just holds 1v1s, doesn't die, supports the team, does well everywhere, basically. It's a very putrid build, and it's very, very strong. I'm almost tempted. Like, I almost feel like Harbinger and Willbender might be... Sorry, Harbinger and Vindicator might be forced to go up a tier here, actually, just because of that. Like, the... Oh, man. Because these are really strong, actually. Right? Like, I like Nos and Naro here arguing. Harbinger more mandatory than Willbender. You don't win anything about the Harb right now. Willbender more mandatory than Harbinger. You don't win anything about that Willbender right now. Nice. Salvation Vindicator tier. There might need to be, like, the S in Salvation is for S tier. Okay, there is a possibility of that. Now it's got my noggin jogging, guys. It's got my noggin jogging. Because honestly, if I was going to predict what is the meta comp, it would be this, right? I would say that teams will kind of slowly move to a setup that looks a bit like that. So you have your Core Guard, you have your Willbender, Harbinger, you have your Vindicator being tanky and annoying, and then you have your Specter to roam around the map there as well, right? I'd probably, like, this is what I would expect a lot of really sweaty try-hard teams to actually go for there. And I'm tempted to put Vindicator there as well, because I think that at high-level play, it's going to start replacing the Mechanist, right? I would say the Mechanist is still good. I'm not, you know, this might be a really hot take, but I don't think it's actually that good. It got nerfed a lot. It's still good, but it's not that good. Yeah, yeah, EOD needs nerfs, guys. Look at all these EOD specs dominating the metagame right now. Absolutely putrid. Disgusting right now. Mech is really tough for me to rate. I don't actually think it's super strong at high level. It's just that people kind of fell into the trap of playing this really bunkery, annoying style, which is exactly what Mechanist really thrives in. But then people started playing more damage, right, with Willbender and with Harbinger, and I think that really upset that balance. I think that actually really throws Mechanist off balance there. I think you're just going to get deleted, right? I don't think you can really survive well enough. You're just going to get farmed on Mecha. So I'm just going to, I think A tier is where it's going to be. I don't think it's better than that. Okay, what else have we got? Untamed. This actually might be a little bit of a hot take, but I actually think Untamed is a little overrated. It has insane numbers on it right now, but I think the real reason why it performed so extremely well in the monthly AT recently with rank 55 is because I think people were not ready for it. It worked really well into the Worms comp because it was that bunker style, and it is a bunker buster for sure. But I also think that people were just not ready for it, right? They weren't ready to counter it, right? They didn't have, they didn't know how to play against it. Like, they didn't know the combos very well. They didn't know the strategy that was going to be used there. And I think it really threw them off. I think you're actually going to see, teams learn how to play against Untamed. And I think you'll find that just that knowledge is going to make it less effective. It's still going to be really strong, I think, but I don't see it as being Omega tier, because I think once players adapt to it, it will end up significantly weaker when they determine the best way to counterplay against it and how to predict that really powerful combo that it uses with the port in to blast you down, right? Yeah, the tail swipe coming in there, the big maul crits, right? The massive damage output. I think I'm going to go against the grain. I'm actually going to make a bold prediction. And look, if I'm wrong here, I'll take the L. But I actually think that Untamed is not actually going to quite make the cut to A+. I think it's maybe a little better than Mech, but I don't think it's actually as good as it might appear right now anyway, for sure. Yeah. Okay, let's get rid of some trash. Firebrand, you're not playing that. You're definitely not playing Chrono at competitive level. Let's see. You're not playing Berserker. You know, I honestly want to flame Reaper. I feel like Reaper is at actual top level. I think Reaper is genuine trash. Okay? Am I wrong there, guys? Am I wrong? Or what? I think it's so bad. Like, you get focused, you get CC'd, you get weakness, you have no health, right? Like, you can't do anything. I feel like you're useless. Maybe you're not as bad as Firebrand. Maybe it goes in like C tier, right? Or maybe like D tier. I mean, I'm a Reaper enjoyer. I love Reaper. I'm all about it. But I think it's so bad. It doesn't work at competitive level. No way. I kind of feel the same way about DH actually. I think DH is in the same boat as Reaper. It's just a little it's a little too vulnerable to work in competitive, right? Like, you're not like a Willbender where you can get away with running Marauder. You're going to have to play super aggressive and rely on your traps to survive, basically. But, yeah, nah, this is... DH isn't going to work. It ain't going to work here whatsoever. Other Thief builds, I think Thief is good. I think Thief is still really strong. I think you're going to find that Daredevil, you could definitely play Daredevil. I think it would work pretty well. At this point, would I put it on the same level as Untamed and Mech? I'm not sure if I would, actually. I think the big reason why I would rate it a little bit lower is because it actually gets overshadowed by Specter a lot, right? Specter is just very, very good, I think. I'm actually going to put Daredevil back. I'm actually not sure where I'm going to put Daredevil. I don't think it's that... It's still good, because, like, Shadow Art's Daredevil is still really nice, but... I'm not sure where it quite fits. Like, people are definitely moving to the more skirmishing style, and that's where Daredevil, I think, falls off a little bit. Oh, yeah, Core Engie, you're definitely not playing that. You're not playing Core Mesmer whatsoever. You're not playing Core Warrior. You're not playing Core LE either. Core Thief, I think it's not good, but it's not, like, complete misclicked here. I don't think it's not, like, horrible misclicked here. Wouldn't go there. Scourge is misclicked here. I think Scourge sucks. Very bad. You're probably not going to play Core Rev. Although I feel like Core Rev is better than these. It's probably D tier. It's like, you could definitely play it if you wanted to. Wouldn't recommend it, but you could. Where does Tempest go here? Tempest. I think... I talked to Zeromus after the show match, and he was saying that Tempest and Core Guard are actually pretty similar. So I think Tempest is actually going to end up in A+ tier. Oh, this is weird though now. Like, am I going to rate Tempest better than Untamed and Mech? I do think it is strong. Like, the only reason you're not playing Tempest all the time is because Core Guard exists, right? That's the key here. Like, if in a world without Core Guard, Tempest would be S tier, and you would probably play it in all of your team comps, right? Because it is very strong. It has the revive power. Tornado is really nice for disrupting down states, confirming kills, getting revives, denying revives, right? All that kind of stuff. Very nice. It has good pressure. Very nice enablers with focus. So you have the Gale, right, to knock people down. Shocking Aura is really good, right? It has really nice sustained healing. So I think Tempest has to go A tier, because A+. You would definitely play it if you didn't play Support Guard for whatever reason. Scrapper, yeah, that's true. It has really good projectiles. And you have Earth Shield. Earth Shield is really nice because you can give it to other people. They can go invuln and have a bit of mobility and have a block and stuff like that. Scrapper, I think, is actually D tier. It's not misclicked here because it does something at least. Like, you could meme people with, like, nades or flamethrower or whatever, but it's not good. Let's see. Holo is B tier. It's really fallen off. There's a lot of projectile hate about the place right now. It can't really connect itself very well. I think it's better than Reaper and DH, but I don't think it's actually that great anymore. Spellbreaker. Ooh, dude. I feel like the Warrior mains are not going to have a good time here, right? Are there any Warrior mains in the chat right now, guys? Any Warrior fans about the place? Whoa, whoa. Is it better than Reaper and Dragonhunter? Yeah, you have Support Warrior, don't you? Support Warrior actually might be the best build for Spellbreaker. Yeah. It's nearly there, actually. Misha was playing it on Steam, and it was actually it was okay. I like the Banner Stomp. I think that's pretty good. Maybe it gets B tier because of that, actually, guys. I think we can give it a B tier. Just because of the support builds. And the Duelist build, I don't think it really does much, to be honest. If you're playing like Duelist Spellbreaker, you are going to really struggle to get value out of that build, I think. Oh, yeah, we're talking about competitive play. Nah, actually, yeah, it sucks. Never mind, yeah. I thought for a moment, I was like, wait a minute. What about support Spellbreaker? Then I remember, wait a minute. I'm not talking about ranked. I'm talking about ATs. Yep, no. I remember. Herald has fallen off. It has. It's not Willbender, right? Like, it's not good enough to be Willbender anymore. I don't think it would quite make it to A tier. I think it's definitely kind of like around Holosmith tier. Maybe it gets very low A tier here, actually, because I do think it's actually still strong. It is still very, very good. And if you weren't running some of the other builds, if you weren't running stuff like Vindicator and you weren't running Willbender, you definitely see Heralds a lot more. So for that reason alone, it might just go to A tier. It still has really good damage, good defensives. Although I think it's better than Holo. Actually, so I think I'll give it A tier there. Core Necromancer. Core Necro... I don't think it's very good anymore. I think it's very low value, actually. Very low value. I'd probably put it in B tier. It's too slow in terms of its damage output. It's not as tanky as it once was because your Shroud drains faster. I think you're not going to do much on this build. It might even actually go lower than this. I think it's very ineffective, actually. You just don't have enough damage to get any value out of Core Necromancer. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Nari. I'm being too generous. I'm being too generous here. Like, the chat is correct here. I'm being corrected by the chat. You've got to go really hard here, I think. You've got to go big, you know. You've got to go hard when you're dealing with, like, actual competitive play and, like, automated tournament play or, you know, just, like, general tournament play. You've got to go pretty hard. So, yeah, I think Herald has to be at least demoted. I don't think it's... I think these ones are... I think it's better than this stuff. For sure, but it's not as good as Untamed and Mech, that's for sure. What about Mesmer? I think Mirage actually deserves a decent rating here. The Duelist build has actually seen some success, and it's done pretty well. The DPS build, I mean, it was run by Misha once in the tournament as a bit of a meme, but I don't think it's great. With this, I think Mirage probably has to get like a low B tier, to be honest. I don't think it works very well. It didn't really see a lot of play. It tends to be outclassed by the other stuff there. I think Virtuoso is actually weirdly in the same boat with this. It's not that good. I think it probably goes with B tier. It's like decent. It's starting to get there. It's quite sustaining. It has some damage output, but in a real tournament comp, doesn't really fit in. It's just going to get melted. It's going to get absolutely eviscerated, I'm afraid. Core Ranger, honestly, in the current meta right now, no, you don't really function with Core Ranger. Druid is good if the team isn't ready for it, but again, in tournament play, people will usually have a bit of savvy and they'll understand how to play against it. Druid might actually go in D tier. I don't think decap Druid works very well anymore. You have to be able to work in fights, right? You need to be able to fight things, and on Druid, you can't really do that. You're only good if you're trolling and being annoying, right? You almost like make your team do a 4v5 if you play this. So I think Druid probably goes D tier. D for Druid. D for Druid, my friends. What about Elementalist? Catalyst is like, it's like nearly there. It's nearly there, I think. With a bit more, it could be good. But I don't think it's enough right now. You're going to get completely ripped to shreds in the current metagame. You're going to get bullied by Willbender. You're going to get bullied by Harbinger. You are going to be very, very dead the entire time. It's not going to be good. The Specter's going to run after you, and you're going to get farmed. For that reason, it probably has to go to B tier, I think. I don't think it definitely has to go to B tier. It can't go any higher than that. Like, you know, it's getting gatekept right now. Like, a lot of specs are getting gatekept by, like, the difference between B tier and A tier. I think it's kind of worth noting here that I think there's actually a pretty big gap from B to A in competitive sense here, which is kind of what Nara was alluding to. Like, when you're dealing with high-level play, your choices are a bit stricter, right? Because you're going to get shut down a lot more aggressively when you're in a more organized environment. So, yeah, I don't know. So I think it goes to, like, a B tier thing. Maybe it's a little bit better than the Mesmer specs, actually. Because I do think it is. I think it's a little towards the underrated side. Bladesworn. You know, I was actually really surprised. I've got to kind of eat my words here. I was expecting people to experiment with Bladesworn in the monthly automated tour, and they didn't. Nobody played Bladesworn. That actually surprised me. Although, I do think that actually is because it's overshadowed by a lot of the other EOD specs. It's kind of like, it isn't Mech, it isn't Vindicator, right? It isn't Willbender. And therefore, if you're running a Bladesworn, you're not running one of those. And that means that it really has a bit of a fall off there as well. Yeah, it's vulnerable to CC as well. It's definitely vulnerable to being focused. And in a coordinated setting, you can really train down that target and eliminate it quickly. So So I think in competitive stuff, Bladesworn I think really suffers, unfortunately. And yeah, I was a little wrong about this, to be honest. I expected it to be better than it is. So probably needs like a few changes or a few nerfs. Although, you know what? I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna double down a little bit. I do actually think that with a few changes to the meta, I think Bladesworn can start to fit in as that duelist team fighter hybrid, because it does have that support component. You have the shout heal. You have a lot of damage. You have some great crowd control. You've got some mobility, right? It has value. It's got a lot of things attached to it that I think are good, right? It has good things baked into that build. It's just not quite there yet, and it's getting shoved out by other things in the meta. I think it's not C tier. It's probably going to go in B tier. Is it better than Mesmer? That's the question. It's a good question. I don't know. I don't think we've seen it played enough to actually make that determination, right? If more people experiment with it, you'd know about it. I do think it is pretty decent. This is going to go in there. There we go. It's in there. Warriors, look, you made it. You made it to B tier. Not too bad, right? There you go. Good job. Well done. Okay, so now we've got 5 left. We've got some thief specs here. Daredevil. Does Daredevil manage to cling on to A tier just because it's thief? Thing is, if you're playing Daredevil, you aren't playing Specter. And that actually hurts Daredevil a lot. Because you're pretty unlikely to run double thief. It is still very good, though. Because you can run around killing things. I think it clings onto A tier because it exists, right? That's my gut. My gut feeling is it's fast, it has great spike damage, it's very good at killing things. Swipe is a very good ability, very hard to lock down and kill because of Shadow Arts. Harder than Specter, actually. Specter a bit easier to kill than Daredevil. So I think it clings onto A tier. Deadeye. I think, Deadeye is one of those specs that works really well in ranked, but I think it really falls off hard in competitive play. In competitive play, Deadeye is bad. I'm sorry, it's not good. I think it's better than Reaper and DH, but it's C tier. It gets completely farmed. You're going to get focused down. You're going to get single targeted. You're going to get chased. You're going to be completely shut down. You're also projectile oriented, which of course gets farmed a lot by stuff in the meta right now. Excuse me, against stuff like the Untamed, right? Your Mechanist, your Guardian, right? All that kind of stuff. So you're going to get shot down really hard there. Yeah, I don't think Deadeye can really make it into the meta. Yeah, it's weird when you're trying to predict this stuff, actually, because you're absolutely right. What Grimjack is saying here is so true, actually. There is this kind of crazy version of reality where you use these insane builds like Deadeye to kill the really tanky stuff like Vindicator, but we haven't seen that yet, so it's going in the trash can where it belongs. Soulbeast, I think, suffers a similar fate to this, actually, as a lot of these specs. I think it actually ends up in B tier. It's not really good enough to go any further than that, I think. But you can still... maybe I have to be a little harsh. I don't think it's C tier, actually. It's probably like the bottom of B tier. You can get really punished. If you play the second build, you're going to get shut down. That's not going to work. But you still have a strong duelist build option that can provide some value to your team. But a bit more towards the meme direction that isn't really going to work when you start playing against, more organized rosters. Weaver and Renegade. What an interesting duo to be left over with. Weaver. Weaver might be the top of C tier. That feels like my instinct. Wait, is it better than Soulbeast? I feel like Weaver actually might be a little bit better than Soulbeast. Because you actually have good 1v1s on Weaver still, if I recall correctly. The problem is, man, you're going to get, deleted. You're like, the Harbinger will walk at you, and you're going to be sad, right? The Harbinger will be on you, and you're not having a good time. Maybe we needed that kind of, C+, right? No. This isn't good. Nah, you're not playing. Weaver is not likely to see play right now. Grim says 0 good 1v1s. Unlucky. Doesn't do pretty well into mech, though, actually. But, well, hey. You know best, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I think it might even have to go into, like, putrid tier, actually. Like, this is scuffed. It might have to descend to the depths here. It's probably like around C tier. It's just not good enough to go any further than that, really. It's in the C tier. You're not really doing anything with that. You're not really doing anything with Weaver in the current meta. Same as, like, Reaper. You're just not going to get value against players who are ready with a proper comp. Renegade. I remember the glory days. The glory days when the French worms were running 3 of these with Kala, but those days are long gone, to be honest, right? They are absolutely long gone. They really, really are. It's not good. It probably goes D tier here, like kind of around where Core is. It's better than Core, I'd say. It's better than Core. Maybe it goes in like very low C tier. It's not good, right? It's not gonna work. Okay, put Daredevil in gatekeep tier between A and B. I think that is quite funny, actually, right? Yeah. Here we go. Right, Thief, so it still works out somehow. There you go. Enjoy. That's the new tier for Daredevil, all on its own. Very, very good. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it gets a bit mushy down in like C and D tier here, I think. I think Renegade is very weak, though. It doesn't really do anything in the current meta. It's better than this stuff in D tier, but not really better than a lot of other stuff in C tier. Maybe it's better than Spellbreaker. Might be better than Weaver. At least you can do damage. You can do some DPS. It might be better than Ranger as well. Might be better than DH. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I think it's better than this. Wait, actually, is it better than DH? It's going up. Yeah, it's getting promoted, right? The promotions are coming through, though. Because at least it does something. I don't know. Like, it's about the same. It's not good, right? It is not great there whatsoever, you know? It really isn't good. But anyway, there it is. We'll leave it in the middle of C tier. But there it is, guys. Enjoy. Bit of a speed run there, okay? The speed run gaming has been activated, okay? Speed run memes. You love to see it. You really do. Wait, misclicked here? Wow. Okay, dude, like, all the Renegade hate here. Like, it's not that bad. Is it really that bad? I know, I guess I haven't really seen it. I haven't seen Renegade for a while. You know what? Fine. You got yourself a deal. Misclick tier. Let's go. Boom. I just like putting things in misclick. I enjoy doing it. You know, I love it. I love putting things in misclick tier. Let's do it. Okay, you won me over. You guys won me over. I'm enjoying it. Let's go. Yeah. I would take Core Rev over Ren. That is sad, right? That is depressing. Okay, Renegade should be in putrid tier. Yeah. Oh, man. The question in this tier is, will you see this in monthly AT above A tier? Oh, yeah, for sure. To be clear, I would not really expect to see anything below A tier in tip-top play. Right? So, what do these tiers mean? I would say B tier is good, but it probably ain't gonna cut it, right? C is, yeah, you're gonna have a hard time. D, ooh, these builds are starting to really not do much. And then misclicked here is like, ooh, yeah, against good players, no. You're 4v5, right? You are forcing your team to 4v5. Absolute disaster. It's not going to work. You're going to die horribly, and your team's going to lose, right? Realistically, the builds that are going to see play at high level are A+, right? You'll see A, Daredevil, A+, and S. And just, again, to kind of reiterate, well, we can ask some of the guys in chat if they would agree with this. I imagine that the Omega comp right now is this. So you would run Core Guard support, Willbender, Harbinger, Bunker, Julie, Vindicator thing, and then a Specter, right? I think that this is probably what a lot of teams are going to play, right? In tournament play, monthly auto tournament, daily auto tournament, and, you know, community events like that. Like, that, to me, is really good. But I do think that the Specter is optional. I think that you can run other things right now. I think for the first time in a long time, you could maybe get away with not playing it and just go full damage and kill stuff. Because the meta is so fast. When the meta gets really, really fast, Thief actually kind of loses value because you don't have that... you don't have the opportunity to kind of run around the map. So if your team is constantly getting blitzed, you just have to fight at some point. And if Thief can't do that, you can just run like another DPS. You know, hey, fuck it, double Willbender or Untamed, right? Or something like that to just have so much damage that you just can't stop it. You can't stem the bleeding. You can't control the map. We saw that play out exactly with the French Worms versus rank 55 Dragons. 55 played with no Specter, no Thief whatsoever, and they just held W, right? They held W all game, and honestly, the Specter could not do anything. It wasn't enough, right? Yeah, you could do double Harbinger as well if you wanted to. I think double Harbinger is also definitely a solid option because of how much damage that's going to bring. You're going to obliterate people in fights. If you have double Harbinger combining that with the Willbender, it's going to get pretty silly, right? It's going to get pretty damn silly. But yeah, very exciting times. I think that somehow the metagame has actually got to a point where it's kind of fun, right? There are a few things that need to be ironed out. I'd say stuff like Mechanist, little unfun to play against. I'd say Untamed needs a bit of quality of life. Some buffs definitely needed to a few classes, some nerfs to a few others, but yeah, Vindicator's still annoying. But other than that, I think the actual game flow, like the flow of gameplay right now, is actually really good. And I'm really looking forward to putting on some tournaments and putting on some events and seeing what players come up with, actually. I think it's really exciting. The metagame is great for PvP right now, guys. It really is. Okay, if you want to get into PvP, do it now. It's actually very approachable as well, particularly if you're trying to form a team. I think the way the game plays out is much easier to learn and get a hold of. I really hope we stay in this skirmish meta and we don't revert to a full team fight meta. You know, it's pretty crazy, right? Core Guard with a Tempest and team play? Yes. They are pretty damn close, right? If Core Guardian didn't exist, you would play Tempest. And if Tempest gets a little bit of a, you know, few buffs here and there, I think that you will definitely get value, for sure. I think you can definitely play it interchangeably. It's very good. Oh, and by the way, guys, just one more time to reiterate, this is not a ranked tier list. This is for tournament play, and specifically high-level tournament play, right? If you want to do this, and if you want to play like any of these builds in daily AT, no problem. It'll be fine. But if you want to actually be the best, get competitive, then honestly, yeah, you're going to have to play the right builds, right? You're going to have to play the optimal stuff. Because ultimately, this is, again, what Nara was alluding to earlier. When you're playing tryhard, right, you don't go, oh, I'm going to play a slightly worse option. You never do that. Realistically, guys, in the minds of top players, everything below A here is trash, right? Everything, so B tier and below, in the minds of 55 USA, realistically, this stuff is all misclick, right? This is all misclick tier, guys, right? Because again, you aren't going to play something that gives you a disadvantage in any way. You are always going to play the best thing at its role. You're not going to play like, oh, this support's really good, Tempest. No, I'm going to play the best support. You're not going to play, oh, I'm going to play a version of Thief. I'm going to play Deadeye. No, you're going to play the best version of Thief possible. You don't go, oh, I'm going to play a really nice 1v1. How about, how about Catalyst, right? Or Weaver? No, you're going to play the exact best one. And everything else is not going to work because at the highest level, all of these variables smash together, combined with player skill, and you don't want to give up a single advantage. That's kind of explaining the mentality of a lot of top-level play here. But I wanted to have B tier here because, again, will these work? Can you even win automated tournaments with B tier and even C tier? Yeah, you absolutely can. It's just that when you really get up there to the super high level, then it isn't going to work super well. It's just not going to work out super great, to be honest. But yeah, there you go. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I'm glad I waited again to do this one. I'm pretty happy with this tier list, actually. I think it's accurate. With the way that I've defined it, I think that this list is good and about right. There's probably a few things in B and C tier that are a little bit like bleh, but it gets a bit mushy when you get there because people don't test it enough, particularly with Bladesworn. I think Bladesworn is maybe a little bit underrated on this list, actually, because I think that It needs a bit more experimentation, a bit of a meta shift, and a few things to get nerfed, and it ends up being a lot better. I think there's going to be a bunch of nerfs and buffs, and then Bladesworn will kind of like spring out of nowhere, and you'll see it playing. Look, I'm just going to double down. I'm doubling down, guys, but yeah. That's it. Tier list, boom, done. Easy peasy, easy game, easy life. Both locked in, both blasted. That's the AT list. Did ranked in the other one. Okay, so go watch that. If you want to go see the ranked tier list, go check that out, guys. This is the AT one. Infinite tier list. I mean, how many tier lists can we possibly have right now? Okay, do we want even more? I don't know. Maybe we will do another one. But anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Big tier list gaming. And well, hey, look, we're going to go around again for the balance patch coming up soon in June. Oh, yeah. We get to experience the tier list all over again. And honestly, maybe it's going to be worth it to actually look at tournaments, because I've got a lot of tournaments coming up, actually, over the next few months, over May, June, July, for PvP. And we may see shifts, right? Like, bear in mind, this is very much a slice in time, right? Like, understand what a tier list is. Understand what the metagame is. It is a slice in time. Okay? And what that means is that players can change, even if the game doesn't change, even if the game doesn't get rebalanced, the meta can still shift as players figure out a new counter or a new strategy, or they innovate, or they try something new, or they have a surprise strategy to try and beat down their opponents, right? Or maybe this works on a certain map really, really well. And that's the exciting thing about the metagame. And the real key is competition. Time and time again, people have gone, oh yeah, this is meta. Oh yeah, Firebrand is meta. Oh yeah, Holosmith is still meta. Oh yeah, Holosmith isn't meta anymore. Oh yeah, Herald isn't good anymore. And then time and time again, the players, they have a competition, a monthly tournament, they have a community run tournament, Master of the Arena, all this stuff. And they say, you know what, actually the meta, no, it's not what you thought. No balance changes, but they just come up with something new, right? And that is why I think it's really important to try and make the scene competitive, because when the players get lazy and they relax, right? They slide back into their chair, they play all this bunker trash, right? Like, oh, it just auto wins us the game. Ugh, boring, right? That stuff typically happens when there isn't enough competition going on. You'll actually find that the metagame is always a lot more aggressive than you might expect when players really get down to theory crafting and figuring out how to break through this stuff. But yeah, there you go, a little bonus meme at the end there. You know, a little bonus meme, a little juicer. But yeah, there it is. That's the tier list. Done.